The Rock is back. The Rock is back. Wrestlemania. What's up, everybody? It is Kev Kellum. I'm doing a special weekend edition of the Rings and Rambles over there in the Pacific time zone, and much better lighting than me currently is Nick. How you doing, Nick Hartson? How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm out here, just enjoying this Saturday. It is gloomy out here in California today, but I'm sure it's not as bad as the snowfall that's coming through the Midwest.
Yes, we're supposed to get a lot of it. I am going to fly off to Mexico tomorrow morning, so I guess I had the right time. But a lot to get to before I leave the continent. We got to talk about everything that's going on in the world of wrestling. Rock versus Reigns. We got to talk about it. The Rock came back. You and I were doing a show Monday afternoon, thinking about who could come. And I literally said to you, I was like, man, if they get The Rock back now, wouldn't that be wild? Wouldn't that be the wild? And that was the wildest one. I'm not saying I called it, but like within 10 minutes of you and I getting off, I think the word gets out that The Rock is showing up.
Oh, yeah.
Within 10 minutes, our whole show is irrelevant for the week. I want to hear from you guys. How would you book Rock versus Reigns? How would you put this match together? If you're with us live or you're watching on demand, I want to hear from you guys. If you guys are with us on the podcast side of things, go ahead and give us a review on our podcast app, Spotify, wherever you do that. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and listen to the podcast. It's another way to just consume what we're doing. Just dropped in the comments, by the way, our best and worst of 2023 video, which I put a lot of time and effort into. And we do have a long form video, I think about 20 minutes, that I really, really worked hard on about an argument for and an argument against Rock versus Reigns. But I want to hear from you guys. Go ahead and get in the comments. Let us know, how would you book it? So this comes together in a wild, wild way. And it is clear, based on what we saw on Monday Night Raw, when The Rock showed up. Oh, The Rock, the most popular and recognizable human being on the face of the earth. He shows up, and people go absolutely ballistic because it was a swerve. They said a former world champion would show up, and it was Jinder Mahal, who we've not seen on television in months, right?
Right.
And the pop from the crowd. Have you seen the clip of Samantha Irving, the ring announcer? Like the camera right on her, and she and she's like punching the camera guy who clearly knew about it before she did. And her reaction is so genuine, and obviously I don't get the impression that she was in on it. If she was, she still had like a real visceral reaction. I loved it. I was actually in the studio working on some projects for Q101. I'm at Q101's studio right now.
Nice.
And people are losing their mind. I got more texts about this than I think when I got this job back at Q101.
Nice.
I had a camera on myself. I didn't post it, whatever. I didn't like the shot. But I remember my shot. I was like, all right, they have Jinder. And then, he's back. So The Rock's back, though. They do the beatdown segment. They do the trash talking. It goes a little bit too long. But we're talking about something from 7 days ago. I want to hear from you guys. Get your comments on screen, by the way. What did you think, though, when he dropped that line? I don't want to eat at a booth. I don't want to eat it. I don't want to eat at the bar. I want to eat at the head of the table. Woo! There's no other way that this is going. But obviously, a lot of people, I've heard some conflicting feelings about this. Like some people saying it's The Rock, it's still cool. Can he still go? Oh, he's huffing and puffing in the ring. And then other people saying, oh, he's gonna rock block Cody, like he rock blocked CM Punk from there. What do you think of the whole thing, man? Lay it out to me.
I was shocked. I thought that they were gonna bring back somebody. When I saw Jinder Mahal come out, I was like, there's no way. I was like, there's absolutely no way that this is the champion that they're bringing back. And you saw the crowd reaction. They're like, are you serious? And I love that angle, though, because you get to boo the guy. They're all disappointed. And then it's set up for the huge pop from The Rock. And yeah, I got goosebumps just like The Rock did. I jumped out of my seat. I was running around to the Rock's theme music. It was great to hear it again, even though we just heard it recently. But his promo that he cut at Jinder Mahal was classic Rock. And
you liked it? So I heard some people saying it was kind of corny.
It was a little corny.
But the guy talks about himself in third person.
Yeah,
he does. That in practice is corny. You want it to be corny. He played the hits. The hits. He worked in your candy ass into the national anthem. Come on.
Yes,
it was pretty fun.
That's what I liked about it. The what you said is some people thought it was corny. I had a few friends who were like, "Oh, that singing thing, he already did that," and I was like, "It's okay because He came back. He hasn't done it in a long time. This is classic Rock. This is what a lot of people
we
wanted.
got him doing this in like September, right? He did this in September where he came back and he did like the pop, and that was the day he kind of let it out of the bag, like he did Pat McAfee the same day, and said, "Oh yeah, we were trying to do me versus Reigns, but it just couldn't come together." All right, he's on the record saying that.
Yep.
This is lining up for a major match. I don't care what anyone says, whether the match is good. It's a marquee money making match. If you're NBC Universal and this is going to be on Peacock, I think you're going to be really happy with it.
Yeah.
And if you're Fox, their other TV partner, they're SmackDown, and they do an angle over there, you're going to be happy about it because you get to have Rock on your TV show. Mm-hmm. And you get to advertise The Rock. This was a surprise. You didn't know you were getting him. So kudos to WWE for keeping that relatively secret until right before the show when it seemed like it got out. But how do you book this, man? I mean, I had so many people at the Sportskeeda boys were like, "This is, I mean, it's cool, but can he even go and have that type of match anymore? He hasn't had a match in like over 10 years." Some people saying he looked winded and all these different stuff like that. Other people say he just wasn't ready to do this last year. Still looks great. I mean, he moves pretty good. Also, I think his cardio will be fine by the time they get there. Yeah. And I think he's not going to do this if he can't do it right. You know what I mean? I just don't see him being a guy who wants to go out there and have a performance that underwhelms. And also, like, he's a great wrestler. I wouldn't call him like the technically best wrestler in the world in terms of an athlete, but he's an impressive guy. The personality does the work, right?
Yeah. And, I completely agree with The Rock's not going to do this big marquee main event match if he can't go. And I believe he's already training to get his win back up. That was just a little test run right there. They're like, okay, let's see where you're at right here. He did his thing against Jinder Mahal. Yeah, maybe he was breathing heavy into the microphone, but who's not going to be breathing heavy after laying the smack down, and I do want to say, though, have you seen all those memes of like the Cody Rhodes and the Rock thing? It's like
no. What are the memes? Hey, Nick, am I sounding good? I'm on the wireless mic. Am I all right?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
you sound better now. You sound better.
What were the memes, dude? Lay the memes on.
It's kind of like have you seen the one where the guy's holding his girlfriend's hand and he's looking back? It's kind of like WWE holding their hands with Cody Rhodes, but then the Rock walks by.
You mean this one, like?
Yeah. There's that one, and Cody Rhodes.
And then the girls over here like this, like.
Yep. And that's so they have WWE holding hands with Cody Rhodes, looking back at the Rock, and Cody's and it's just a bunch of stuff like that, and it is interesting to see where they're going to do, like what they're going to do now. Does Cody get to actually finish his story? What is Cody's story anymore? Because
so there's a lot of different scenarios where this could play out, because we have a lot of time before WrestleMania. We still have the Royal Rumble in 2 weeks,
Exactly.
There's 2 nights of WrestleMania. Okay. So there's some people saying, oh, well, you could do it this way. So let's lay out a handful of all the different scenarios that could happen here.
Yeah.
All right. So you do Rock versus Reigns. Okay. And that is for the title. The undisputed WWE Universal Championship, the longest world title reign in modern wrestling history. Right. And they have a lot invested in that. Okay. A lot. But there is factors here. Do you do Roman 2 nights in a row? Do you have Rock say, I'm not here to fight you for the title. I'm here to fight you for the term of tribal chief. I am the leader of our tribe. You have disrespected our. That's where this is going. This is going to get he would not bring up that signature phrase, which is very much like their in-house term for each other. He's the leader of our tribe. That lay that they put on him when he comes out and he does the entrance and he takes off and Paul Heyman holds it and it's so precious. That is what they're going to fight for here. Yeah. If they have the world title, they have the world title, right?
Yep.
The issue with that, though, I think, is it makes it like, I don't want to say too predictable that Roman leaves with this title, and I've heard some people say, oh, well, they're just going to keep the belt on him so he can break Hogan's record. I don't think they have to break Hogan's record. I mean, they don't have to break Hogan's record. They really, really don't.
No.
And I don't know how many WrestleManias you can do where he gets to keep this title. So we'll get to my 2024 predictions about him and this title.
Okay.
So do you
Nice.
do 2 nights of Rock and Roman, or you do Rock, Roman one night, you do Roman, Cody one night? What do you think?
I think that is the scenario that's going to play out if I had to guess, but I have seen people, and we talked about this a little before the show. I've seen people talking that they want to see Cody take the belt off of Roman at Elimination Chamber, which I don't think is going to happen, and then have The Rock take on Roman Reigns for just the head of the table at WrestleMania, with Cody headlining the other night against who knows. But that's another scenario I've seen a lot of fans talking about. I
Yeah.
personally don't believe that's going to happen. I think I'm with you on they're going to do the Roman 2 nights, Rock battling him for, that lay for the head of the table, like he said in that promo, the mic drop, or should The Rock sit at the head of the table? But
and the reaction to that was
yeah.
palpable. I know a lot of hardcore fans like, oh, you're screwing over Cody in this regard, right? It's Cody's match to win this back, right? To finish the story and all those different things.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. You can go that route, but does that story have to end at WrestleMania? Like, does he have to lose the title? Does Rock versus Roman have to be at WrestleMania? Do they need The Rock to sell these tickets for WrestleMania? They really don't. No. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't mean that in disrespect to him. I think they need The Rock more in Australia. If you want to sell tickets and provide for an international partner, like you're doing here with Australia, the tourism board was involved. And the report got out that they wanted to try and get The Rock at the show. The tourism board went to WWE with all the money they're putting up, because there's some government money there, right?
Yeah.
Saying like, hey, we would like The Rock on this. And they've sold about 30,000 tickets for that show. And they got, they're about halfway there. It's a long time away. It's a walk up, Also, 30,000 is not a bad gate for an international show. So, I don't know. I think they do something in Elimination Chamber to get there.
That's a very interesting point you made there. And what if The Rock?
What if The Rock helps Cody get the belt back?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, that's where I'm like, where he goes and says, what's up? Oh, thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate the support, man. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Get into the conversation. Let us know what you guys think, especially if you're on demand, too. I want to hear from you. There's so many different ways you could go here. I heard one person pitch, I think it was Sean Rossi Sappy over there on the Fightful, the full fight. So he said, like, what if The Rock just helps him win the title? He just screws over Roman, and then you do SummerSlam. But I don't know what The Rock's schedule is like. Like he's relaunching the XFL. They're going to merge it with the USFL. That's going to happen on March 30th, the weekend before WrestleMania. So hell of a time there. He's going to do multiple TV things, but the fact that he said it means they're going to do it. They would not have him go out there and say this, and we're not getting a match. Right. We're not getting a match. We're absolutely 100% getting this match. If and when and how, when and how is all we have to fill. If is already taken care of. Now it's just when and how, and what for. Is it for the lay or is it for the title? They're interesting questions to ask. I want the match, but I'm surprised how many people are like, no. You got to do the Cody thing. You got to do the Cody thing. And I'm not. My thing is like the Cody thing's there.
It is
there. Do
still.
it. If you don't win the world title at WrestleMania, did you not win the world title? But at the same time, you and I were at WrestleMania last year, and once he won the title, like he's at least keeping that another year. At least another year. Like immediately.
We did say that. Yeah. And you brought up an interesting point there. I wonder if at Elimination Chamber, it's The Rock versus Roman, not for the title, but for the lay, for the head of the table. He beats Roman. Roman's vulnerable then. He's not the head of the table anymore. He's not the tribal chief. He goes into WrestleMania weak, loses to Cody. It's just a, downward.
No. I mean, if they do it at Elimination Chamber, it's much more likely that The Rock lays down for him. And does the ultimate, like, here, you not just the world title. Here, I am the most popular celebrity in the world. Also in your family, I'm the most popular wrestler of all time, and you've defeated me. And you're the world champion. Then you put him in God mode. Then Cody beats him. Then Cody beats him. You know what I mean? Then Cody beats him. Because, I mean, The Rock doesn't need to win this world title to be who he is, right?
No.
So I do think they have to find a way to get him away from the world title. I don't think he's not. We know he's not going to be there afterwards, unless he is, which would be even crazier.
That would be crazy.
It'd be crazy.
Yeah, if they put the belt on The Rock, oh my goodness, that would, and they keep him around for a while. That would be insane. I don't see it happening, but that would be cool to have The Rock around for a little bit again.
They're in a very good position here, and
Yeah.
and this is all TKO coming in and buying it, Endeavor, and them saying all hell's out, dude. We're going full broke. We're gonna make sure that you know that when we took this over, that we were not gonna mess around with this. That we're gonna let Triple H have all of the utility that he needs, all of the artillery to go to war with anyone who wants to challenge us in pop culture, not just wrestling, entertainment, and you know, we're still waiting on a Monday Night Raw TV deal. If you're someone who's negotiating Monday Night Raw and you're looking at them for TV rights, and they just had The Rock show up, you know, just show up as a surprise. Let alone now you get to market him coming back to do other appearances. He's the most recognizable human. Anyone who says, oh, I'm sick of The Rock, you don't understand. What's up, George? Shout out to the crew. Shout out to the crew. How you guys doing? So to me, it's like, it's a very challenging scenario that they put them in, because you also have all these other matches coming together. We know we're getting Punk versus Rollins. I know some people are going to say, CM Punk didn't get the main event of WrestleMania. He's going to be. I don't think no. He's going to want to steal the show. He's done it before. Him and Rollins. If they don't get the main event of WrestleMania, if they don't get the main event of WrestleMania and they get the opening slot, which some people think is like an offensive spot to be in, psychologically, it's the best spot to be on the wrestling card besides the main event.
Yeah.
And they get to go out there and tear it up and be like, all right, follow that. You know what I mean? Like, I could absolutely 100% see that happen too. But we're in a good spot.
They're in a great spot.
You don't need to complain. We're in a very, very good position right now. I'm very happy with this, man.
I am definitely happy with this. Did you see that little interview that CM Punk just had where he told Seth Rollins? Well, he didn't tell Seth Rollins, but he's like, hey, you know, I looked up to guys that came before me, like Terry Funk, and he was just spouting off people.
They paved the way for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dude, they are really playing out a bunch of backstage notes here. Because what was the big MO with him and Jungle Jack Perry at AEW was, hey, Greenhorn, come over here. I want to teach you a new hole. I want to tell you how to not to get bleed too much on television when it's unnecessary with glass. Let's not do that. And now he's kind of doing that with somebody else. So it's just nuts that CM Punk's back in WWE and this match is happening. That was the preview special where we were supposed to get a massive announcement. A massive announcement was teased on this preview special they did for Peacock. WWE, like, basically doing sweeps week. We got best ofs for the holiday week. So they really went. Day one was a big show. New Year's Revolution, SmackDown was a big show. They did a New Year's Evil show for NXT.
Oh, yeah.
And then they did this preview special where they had some interviews. They filmed for it. And we were going to get this big announcement, which came out on social media 12 hours before this big announcement. I was hoping they would do some like big. And this is a fairly big announcement. There were some people that got it in their heads that WWE was going to announce that they bought TNA. Did you see that going around?
Yeah, I did see that.
And I was like, where? Because Endeavor has a streaming platform. Endeavor's a parent company of WWE. They provide back-end support, like streaming support. WWE used it, and that's kind of how people thought they got going in that regard to this, you know?
Yep.
And so they're going to call their pay-per-views premium live events. No, that's just them playing on the popular term. That's what WWE says now. That's what they're going for. That's it. You know, now if they buy them, that'd be wild. But this obviously was not that. PWI Insider rumor killing that a couple hours before it. Yeah. So they announced, though, that Money in the Bank is going to be in Canada, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. They're going to be at the Scotiabank Arena 3 nights. They're going to do SmackDown, Money in the Bank on Saturday, the 4th of July weekend. And then the next night, they're going to do NXT TakeOver. Nice. So that's a wild weekend. I've never been to Canada. That looks like something I should do and venture north for. You ever been to a Money in the Bank, dude?
I have never been to a Money in the Bank. That is on my bucket list because it is one of the most high action-packed pay-per-views or premium live events to watch.
And there's a consequence to it. Like the fact that it has a Royal Rumble aspect to it too. I've been to two that were in Chicago. I went to the CM Punk John Cena one in 2011. Maybe the best match I've, like, in terms of emotions that I've ever seen. And the Money in the Bank's on that. Like, Daniel Bryan won one, and I can't remember who won the other one because they did two men's Money in the Bank ladder matches. I went to the one I want to say in 2017 or 18 where Alexa Bliss won, and then she cashed in that night.
Nice.
And so that was pretty cool. It's pretty sweet. It's a fun, wild show. If you want to buy tickets to a show, this is a show. I want to check it off my bucket list. This is one to check off for. So it's a wild time in wrestling here. We're in 2024.
Yep.
Let's do some predictions.
Okay.
We're at the beginning of the year, and we'll write these down, or I'll go back to the show next year. What are your major predictions for 2024 in wrestling?
Major predictions. I will. You want one or you want a few right now?
Give me a few. Give me one. Give me one. We'll go back and forth.
I'll give you one right now. Seth Rollins will drop his title before WrestleMania.
Wow, what makes you think that? Because do you just think they're going to do Punk Rollins and make it a personal thing?
Yeah, I think that they can build it back up. I think Rollins can still fight Punk for maybe Punk has the title on his waist, but I just think that I don't see Seth holding it for too much longer. I think WWE is due for a title change soon, and I see Seth is a great company guy. He'll do anything for the company, and he's paid his due. He's held onto that belt for a while now. I see him dropping the belt before WrestleMania. That's just, I don't know why. I got a hunch about it. That's just.
Speaking of title changes, I don't think. Let me just say this.
Yeah,
I'll make it as broad as possible. Mm-hmm. I do not see Roman Reigns getting out of this year with the title. I could see him. I could see him. Maybe it feels very 50-50. Him walking out of WrestleMania. I don't see him losing it before WrestleMania. And if he does, it's really just to set up him and The Rock.
Yeah.
And there's other people that could have that title, but I definitely do not see him by the time we're having this conversation, hopefully a year from now, that he has the title. I do not see him having the title by the end of 2024. He's had it long enough. I don't know how much longer you can have the patience with a guy who's just not on TV all the time and maybe defends it now and then.
So do you think that he loses it at Mania or SummerSlam? Do you
I just don't see him having it like by the end of the year. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
yeah,
it's a TV contract year. I wonder if they want to keep the belt on him until they announce like another TV deal. So SmackDown's already locked in October of next year. It will move to USA Network from Fox. It'll go back from broadcast TV to cable. So this is all business related.
Yeah.
So I do have another prediction that's TV related, but I do think they're going to want to figure out what he's doing with that title before October, I want to say. Yeah. I think you're going to want to know, or I definitely don't see him, their last show on Fox being him losing that title. I don't see that happening either, But maybe they do that to get you to, hey, by the way, we're moving over to USA Network. We just got a new world champion. I just don't see him definitely at the latest. I think he could have the title into the fall, but at the latest, I just don't think you can push people's patience much longer with it.
Yeah, I completely agree there. He's had a historic title run. Everybody's acknowledging him and whatnot, but yeah, it's time. It's he's proven himself. He's done a great job with it.
That's a big prediction. I wouldn't call that like a wild out there one.
That's a good prediction.
My wild out there one, which I feel I could be wrong on.
Yeah.
I'll get to, but what's your next one?
Okay, this one's kind of wild. I think that they have bigger plans for Gunther moving forward, than his Intercontinental Championship reign. Mm-hmm. I think Damian Priest cashes in on him, takes the Intercontinental title.
Can he do that? Can he do that?
Can he?
Or is it? Well, no, because Austin Theory tried to do it with the U.S. title.
Yeah. But I think that's what he's going to do with it because now you got Punk and Rollins and all these other big time heavy hitters coming in for the heavyweight or the world championship, just the universal championship. I don't see Damian Priest going for those anymore. And I think Gunther, after he loses to Damian Priest, once he cashes in and takes the Intercontinental Championship, I think Gunther makes his way towards any of the belts, Universal Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship. I could see him really making a push here in 2024 for a bigger belt than what he's got right now, even though he's made the Intercontinental Championship prestigious once again, I feel like.
Okay. I wrote down some other crazy ones that I'll get to. Ooh, okay. There's one I have here that's pretty nuts. I have a Forbidden Door deal.
Okay.
WWE. So I'm teasing here. My other crazy one, this is media related. You know, I like talking the media business stuff.
Yes.
I see WWE getting a deal for Raw relatively soon.
Yes.
And here's the crazy part. I don't think they stay on Monday nights.
Oh, man.
I think they do something different. USA has Fox. They're gonna get SmackDown from Fox. It's not clear if they're going to want that show on a Friday night on cable. Friday nights on cable are completely different than broadcast on cable. So if SmackDown moves, do you put it on a Tuesday? Do you do 2 nights in a row like that? Where does that put NXT? NXT in October 2024 is going to go to CW, a much lower tier broadcast channel, but a much bigger platform for them. So they're going to do a lot of different things with television this year. And I really feel Raw is going to be a part of those changes. This is that they're going to have that maybe on a different night. The craziest thing they could do with Raw, I'm more inclined to think they'll move it to a different night. But the craziest thing with Raw would be if it wasn't on cable, if it went to streaming, if it went to an Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime getting it would be wild because they've done a great job with NFL. You know what I mean? Like the NFL games they have are good. I'd be surprised though if they went to Warner Brothers Discovery with Raw, and that would obviously be a very, very bad sign for All Elite Wrestling, the competitor who works with Warner Brothers Discovery. So I do have a prediction about what's going on with AEW, and that's my next one. What's your next prediction, buddy?
Well, I just want to ask you real quick about your prediction, your last one right there, of Raw moving away from Monday. Where would you see it moving to? Which day of the week? Do you have a prediction on that, or because I would be curious to see how they could.
I know what night somebody in Jacksonville would not want it to be on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know that much.
Yeah.
If Raw went to Wednesday nights and you're AEW, how quickly can you move your show?
Right, they're gonna need
to. How quickly can you move your show?
Yeah.
And I don't mind being wrong about this, but I do think they're just going to do something radically different with Raw than we've seen. And if it went to a streaming, doing 3 hours would it be 3 hours? You know what there'd be if you went to streaming, what would the commercial breaks be? That'd be a completely different show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you watch NFL on Prime, it is there's some commercial breaks and stuff like that, but it's not long. You know what I mean? And it's very closer to like a Hulu and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And those next day streaming rights are going to be kind of crazy. If they went to Hulu, that would be nuts. That'd be a huge one, you know. And ABC's in place. So I mean, WWE's in a very good business position there. But I mean, obviously, Wednesday nights would be the most us freaking out, going live as soon as possible type situation.
If they did the Wednesday night deal, there would be. I'm sorry to say this, I'm not an AEW hater, but there would be no Monday night. There would be no Wednesday night war like there was back in the day. It would just be complete domination. I'm sorry, but all right. If
don't worry, we get accused of hating All Elite Wrestling. I do have I have a positive All Elite Wrestling prediction here in a minute. I have I have some positive ones here. What's your next one, though?
My next prediction: we have not seen Jade Cargill yet, and I'm not just calling her come out. You know, her welcoming party of 2024. I call her. She's going to win a championship this year. Jade Cargill is going to make her debut, and maybe not on her debut match, but she's going to win a women's title in 2024.
You think she shows up at the Rumble?
I do.
Yeah.
I think that's
and they've been quiet about it. I mean, she sadly lost her mother, which I think is a big reason why they did the rollout. She's training and different stuff like that, but we haven't heard much about when. And they had her on every TV show for like a couple of weeks, just showing up and saying hi and turning heads, you know. And it was a big sign of what WWE was going to do. And the bidding wars of 2024 are going to intensify.
Oh yeah.
And we are in a position here where Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, their contracts are up. Drew McIntyre's contract is coming up fairly soon. Some injury time has been added to it. Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio signed new deals. They're going to be locked down for a long time. So but there are other guys in both companies. They're going to be looking for deals. And I do see some jumping back and forth. I could lose myself on the final minutes here of the show by saying who would jump back and forth. Let's go over to All Elite Wrestling. People saying they're in dire straits. It's a bad time and stuff like that. I say, though, as we saw with this week's show, they got Deonna Purrazzo, that AEW really starts to focus on their women. and they start to focus on their women in a different way and do some different things with the women's division. And that happens when Mercedes Moné, who is heavily reported to go back to wrestling and join them, will do that. Will join the fold here. I think when she comes over, that's a big deal. It's a big deal that could make some people, think about coming back over. Chris Leclerc saying Bayley winning the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
I don't think that's bad at all. I don't think that's a bad prediction at all. Bayley winning the Royal Rumble makes a lot of sense. We're actually working on some videos about different things that are going to happen with the year ahead. Mehdi Abane says, do you think Drew McIntyre will join AEW? I mean, if you're AEW, you're going to want him to join, right? You're going to want to try and get him.
Definitely.
Have him flip back over to Drew Galloway, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's got to be their main focus to me right now. If they're looking at free agents to bring over, you got to bring a big time name like Drew McIntyre over. Because, I mean, that guy, he's former WWE champion. Of course, he got it during the pandemic and all that. But to have Drew McIntyre over and have him be all elite, yeah, that'd be doing some good things for the company for sure.
All right, let me get to another crazy one here. AEW, they do sign a new TV contract. If they did, that'd be very bad. I think they stay with Warner Brothers. I don't think they get the increase that Tony Khan thinks they get, but they get one, and they get to stay over there. Very tough time here. Kervin saying that report 50-50 for me. Oh, you're 50-50 about Sasha Banks coming over or what? Kervin, let me know what you're 50-50 about there. I want to know your take on that. But I do think AEW secures a new TV contract, which is good. And that's a big story, but it's an easy prediction to make. And I do think they secure that with Warner Brothers Discovery. Where else they would go would be interesting. But when I was on that media call with Tony Khan last week before World's End, he was definitely playing up the value of WWE and AEW being out there at the same time, and that they will get a rights increase, which they need. They need that. They need to. That's where the market's going. This happened this week, and this is kind of helping me make a prediction. Charlie Dempsey, son of William Regal, he walked through the forbidden door under contract to WWE as an NXT superstar. He took on Nakajima, who's the Triple Crown champion of All Japan Pro Wrestling. So you're like, why is this a big deal? He's a contracted WWE wrestler having a match in another promotion.
Yes.
This is not Vince McMahon's WWE, where he would work with other promotions. Only people say that he never wanted to play well with others. He did. He just hasn't done it for a long, long time. All right. I see him being a sign of some other things here, because we got reports in the Wrestling Observer this week from Big Papa Dave Meltzer, who knows a lot about Japanese pro wrestling. And this is just days before Wrestle Kingdom, a show I'm going to watch on the plane. I'm saving that for the plane.
Nice.
I think WWE tries or is trying to open the forbidden door that AEW has opened, a term that the new president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Hiroshi Tanahashi, coined in an interview, and that the true forbidden door is New Japan and WWE opening and doing something together. And I want to say to SP3 of Smack Talk, which is on WrestleBinge, a Sportskeeda show.
Yes.
More than a year ago, he chuckled and laughed and was hysterical and telling me that there's no way, there's nothing to this at all. Nick Khan taking over WWE. Yeah, why would he want to get WWE to work with New Japan? Why would that happen? And I told him I was very aware of a situation where trying to keep Bryan Danielson in WWE was, hey, would you like to have the option that you've always wanted to go wrestle in New Japan? And then Bryan chose to go to AEW for his own interests and his own creative pursuits. And then he wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom. Now, what if you're WWE and you go to someone who's lower on the card, not like a Seth Rollins, you go to Natalya, all right? Or you go to a Charlotte Flair, somebody who would want that role, right? And you go over and you say, hey, you want to wrestle in Wrestle Kingdom? Like outside of WrestleMania, that's a show that everybody wants to be on.
Know. Yeah.
You know? Definitely. So, and I think WWE, we figure out this NXT Europe thing, and then they start to work their way into Asia. They have not announced a big premium live event internationally in Asia. If they want to do that, they're doing it with New Japan.
That would be insane. But I'm all here for it. I'm here for it. And I love that you called out our colleague there.
I gotta call him out.
But you have to. You have
It
to.
was in the Observer. It was in the Observer. I have to throw the microphone away because I'll get too loud into it. It was in the Observer. All right. So those are my crazy. You have any more wild predictions here?
I'll go off of.
I think I'm going to be wrong about the New Japan thing. Like, people will argue with me about it, but I don't see myself being 100% on that one.
That's okay. I would love if that happened, though. I would absolutely love if that happened. I'm gonna backpack off of Chris up here, who said Bayley's gonna win the Royal Rumble. I'm just gonna say if she does, she's gonna challenge Io Sky. She's gonna challenge Io Sky for that title, and there's gonna be
damage control and damage control.
Yep. That's my prediction. If she wins, that's who she's going after.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for checking out our show. If you just joined us, you can watch the whole show on demand whenever you want. It is on the Sportskeeda YouTube channel. Thank you so much. 90,000 subscribers. All right. And for you guys who watch the documentaries, Nick and I are the voices you hear on those documentaries. Yes. You hear our voices on those. So definitely check that out. Or on all the different platforms. You can hear me all the time on Q101, Chicago's alternative rock radio station. And we have some really, really cool stuff coming up, some big interviews, all that good stuff. So definitely follow me over there. You can follow me on the Instagram at KevKellum6. All right. Where do they follow you, Nick?
You can follow me on Twitter at nharksen24. That's at NHARKSEN24.
All right. And of course, follow Sportskeeda on all the different platforms. And remember, when watching wrestling, please do the most important thing. Don't get angry that your fantasy booking didn't happen. I won't get angry that my predictions didn't come true. And just calm down. Boo that bad guy. Cheer that good guy. And enjoy wrestling.